Hi, this is Gordana with Imagine It Is. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the real mechanics of habits, why we form them, why some of them hold us back, and most importantly, how to transform an ineffective habit into one that will support who you truly want to be, your desired identity. And I will use my own example of being late to appointments. And we will also refer to James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, specifically habit loop part. Now, what are habits? Habits are simply behaviors that we repeated so many times that they became automatic, right? So remember the time when you were learning how to ride a bicycle or rollerblading or playing piano, driving. How scary was that? Or like me now, I'm learning how to use and navigate through a video editing app. I'm super newbie at it, and let me tell you, it is challenging. I also like to use an example of starting a new job, just because we spend so much time at work and we repeat the same tasks, the same behaviors that we quickly become masters at it, right? So now, do you remember the time when you started a new job and how overwhelming it was? You might have been even coming home with headaches from processing so much information. And that is because your conscious mind was working overtime, right? But as you kept repeating the same tasks, the conscious mind handed them over to the subconscious, and once subconscious took over, things became easy and effortless. And that's what we like, right? And now your conscious mind is able to free itself to learn new things or being creative. So now, why do we form habits? Why do we actually form habits? You see, habits are just behavior developed as a solution to a problem or challenge, right? So think about it. We became quickly aware as young people that work is solution to earning money, right? So we quickly become so good at work, and we can perform some of our tasks with almost our eyes closed, right? But here's the other side. If, for example, we're being criticized by either a coworker or a boss, and we feel threatened by that, we will consciously start developing defense mechanism, right? And it's going to be a defense habit, right? And so maybe we will start to avoid that person or even hold back our efforts, right? So even if behavior doesn't serve us, the subconscious is only trying to do one thing: to protect us. So now when I look at my own habit of being late, it's very clear to me it's a learned behavior from my childhood. So in my household, when we were going somewhere, it was always a little bit of a rush, a little bit of a chaos, a little bit of getting out, and that was my learned behavior. So my subconscious found a solution: just wait until the last second and then just get rushed, get things ready and get out of the house, right? So though that helped me before, right, now it doesn't serve me, and I don't like it, right? And so now let's talk about our habits. We like to label habits good or bad, right? Good habits, bad habits, but are they really good or bad, or is there something deeper to it? So if we look to the very start of habit creation and understand that they're actually a solution to problems and challenges, then we can really see that they're actually effective or ineffective, right? So back to my example of being late, for as long as I remember, I struggled with being on time, and most of the time I made it on time, the very last minute, but the amount of stress I went through, huge. And it's just, here's the shift: I don't want to live stressed and rushed. So instead of beating myself, which I've done a lot, I now ask myself, who do I want to be, right? So that's the identity. And I want to be a punctual person, calm, centered, and arriving 5 minutes early. That's an effective habit because it supports my desired identity, right? So now, how do we actually transform the ineffective habit into an effective one? Now, James Clear explains that beautifully in his book Atomic Habits. He talks about habit loop, right? So, habit loop has 4 parts, and it's cue, craving, response, and reward. And the subconscious keeps repeating the loop because the reward reinforces it, right? So here's how the lateness looks in my life. So cue, all right, I look at the clock and it's time to get ready. So for example, if my daughter's dance class is at 5 o'clock, around 4 or so, it should be time for me to start getting ready, right? So now craving. So what do you think my subconscious craves? Does it crave calm? No, my subconscious craves that rush of adrenaline, right? And then just that, last minute stress. So what happens at first, I kind of delay because I have a lot of time. And then as it's getting closer, I make myself busy with seemingly super important things such as making dinner or folding laundry, cleaning, ordering something, groceries or something from Amazon. Those are all the things that I could have done earlier, or they could wait till later, but I decide to do them at that time, right? So that is the craving for adrenaline rush, and my response is making myself super busy with other things. And then here's the reward. Here's the reward, the stress, the adrenaline rush, right? The last minute getting out of the house, yelling, did you pack your stuff? Do you have your water? Let's get in the car. Let's rush and drive fast. And then I'm getting to the place and I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm here. Wow, and I'm all stressed out. Everybody can notice that, right? So you see, here's the paradox. Consciously, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But subconsciously, the loop reinforces survival, right? That's why it's so sticky. And so, you see, once you know the loop, that's when you can rewire it, right? If you don't have the awareness, you can't change it. So once you know the loop, you can do something to rewire it. So how do we change the loop? So here it is. So first is the cue, right? Changing the cue and make it obvious. So setting the reminder earlier instead of maybe 4 o'clock, I should set my own reminder maybe at 3 and make a sticky note, and put it on the wall and say, okay, leave 10 minutes earlier. Then we make it obvious, right? Then shift the craving. So teach your brain calmness instead of stress, right? And make it attractive. That is attractive to me. Calmness, that's what I want to be, right? That's the identity that I want to embody. So I want to make it attractive to me. And the next is actually the actual habit, what we're doing, right? Replace the response. Instead of me making myself super busy with other seemingly super important things, I can prep early. I can put my keys, my phone, ensure that my daughter has all of her stuff, the water bottle is filled. So that's the preparation, that's the actual habit, right? And make it easy for yourself. And finally, create a new reward, which for me is to arrive there calm, be centered, arrive 5 minutes earlier, right? Make it attractive, you see. And satisfying, right? And so now punctuality is not just a habit, it's who you are. It's the new identity. I'm embodying that new identity. That's who I am. I'm a punctual person and it feels so good, right? So that's the habit loop. But now, guys, here's the truth. It's not going to happen automatically. It will eventually, however, not at the beginning, right? It takes about 21 days to build a habit, right? So that means we need to consciously putting the work. We gotta do the work, right? Consistently. And then most importantly, we gotta fall in love with our new identity, right? Because when you're in love, you make it happen. You show up, right? So yeah. So now, please tell me in the comments what are some habits that you would like to transform from ineffective to effective. And if this video helped, please like, subscribe, and share. And thank you so much. See you in the next one.